Hello everybody and welcome to a little series that I'm calling Modern Reviews. It's like Mod Spotlight but for video games and whole, and it's more like a review series where I can talk about the things that I've done or the things that I've watched. In this episode, I'm talking about Looney Tunes Back in Action, which came out for the PlayStation 2 era consoles, Gamecube, original Xbox, and we recently did a series on it on the channel, and that was something I wanted to cover, right? As a nice, end cap. Now, I wasn't able to finish the game, in its whole, but I managed to find some footage. So that's all in the playlist, and you can go watch that if you'd like. So, where do I begin? I'm not scripting this or anything, this is just the raw feeling of how I feel about this game. I grew up with this game, so I'm initially biased, right? And I think it's a really good game. There's a lot of negative feedback online about it. If I can pull up the reviews real quick. Right, so it got less than favorable reviews on most of the popular publications of the time, right? Like Game Informer gave it a 5 out of 10, GameSpy gave it 2 stars out of 5, but there were also positives, like GameZone gave it a 7.8 out of 10 for the PlayStation 2 version. IGN gave it a 4.5 out of 10. It's not the best that it could have been, honestly, but that shows in some of the gameplay, right? The camera messed up sometimes, and as far as the end goal goes, right, like what I was talking about in the intro, where the game it expects you for some reason to 100%, right? I don't know if it's actual 100%, because I can't be bothered to do the math, but I played through all the game as normally, completed all of the challenges as normal, and the game expects you to have more of the MacGuffins, the monkeys, than you have by the end of the main section. And as far as I think game design should go, right, that should be it shouldn't stop you from playing the game at that point.
So I can ring the bell. I don't know, Dave. Seems like we ought to find more monkeys before we wrap it up. So we can change them all back. Oh, no you don't. Not when I'm so close. You wouldn't dare. The sooner we get those monkeys, the sooner I'll help you open the door. Fine. Have it your way, Killjoy.
Guess so. I need 35 monkeys. I don't know how many I fucking got. Without having to go back and sink another few hours, it's forced replayability, as I would like to call it, right? Because you're forced to go back because you beat the game, right? As far as it goes, and you're forced to go back and play it more, and that shouldn't be why you're going back to these earlier levels and playing the game. It should be because they're fun, and it should be the original reason I came back to them in the first place, which was honestly nostalgia and novelty, right? There's not a whole lot of games like this, and some of the scenes, the worlds were kind of incredible for a younger myself. Most of the game mechanics were fine. Some of the timers were a bit wonky, and some of the levels could have done with a few checkpoints in places. Like, in my playthrough, there was a certain area where I had to go back and forth a few times because there wasn't a checkpoint in the right place, and one of the characters is better at platforming in general than the other. Because you can play as both Daffy and Bugs in this. But Bugs has a double jump, and Daffy can just, kind of do this pseudo-glide thing. It's weird. But I don't know. Honestly, I still think that it's a good game. It doesn't deserve the reviews that it got from these old magazines and stuff. Just because. Hang on. I guess I can't pull up any of the reviews specifically, can I? Oh, here's some for the PlayStation 2. Let's see. Okay, most of the reviews seem to be that it's like a generic platformer made for made for its purpose, which was to go alongside the movie, and that's honestly exactly what it was, but that doesn't make it innately bad, you know. I think that generally it was a good game, and it did that kind of PlayStation era platforming well enough, at least, that, you know, I got to renege on my claims of being a good platformer of the era. If we compare it to games like Ratchet and Clank, right, a pinnacle of the PlayStation 2 era, you can obviously see things that are like not all their story elements and that kind of stuff that might have made the game better. The story was kind of ad hoc as far as it goes, but it fulfilled its purpose of driving the game. Because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be going alongside the movie, and if you don't watch the movie, it's not going to make all that much sense. It's vaguely the same plot, but they obviously wanted the movie to have the spotlight in this, and that's fine. You can see something similar going on in the, was it 2019 release of, was it 2016? I don't know. There was a modern reimagining of the first Ratchet and Clank game it also released alongside the movie, and there were scenes that they had literally taken from the movie and placed them in the game. So like your PlayStation would stop recording if you were doing that because of copyright reasons, and you couldn't, you know. There were some original cutscenes, but most of them were just ripped from the movie, and I think that detracted more from the experience than this movie did, where all the cutscenes are in-engine and done well, where you're still forming the story in the game and appealing to a different audience than you would be by doing the movie. They didn't expect it. The movie didn't go as they wanted it to. Looney Tunes Back in Action. It wasn't well received, but I think they probably made enough money on the movie release and the games that it's not so big a deal that they like lost out. But it did prevent the release of a PC version for the game, which was would have made my life easier, honestly, instead of having to play it on emulator. But you know, if it didn't have controller support, then there's no point, anyways. But yeah, that's my little modern review of the game. The graphics aren't bad. They hold up. The story is okay. The platforming is fine. It's fun. Some bits would need reworking in like a modern setting. The soundtrack repeats a lot, and it's not catchy enough, I don't think, to warrant it repeating so much. And there's like obvious loop points instead of being dynamic. But with the limitations of the time, I feel like this game did its job well, and it's not expected to be the quality of like Ratchet and Clank, where Ratchet and Clank is a standalone IP, and this one was released alongside a movie and had certain expectations by a board, you know, not an original idea being put forth. Anyways, that'll be all for now. I've been Isaac Von Berg, and thanks for watching. If you made it this far, do consider supporting the channel by hitting the subscribe button, leaving a like, and if you're feeling extra generous, go visit the Ko-Fi page. Link is in the description. That is ko-fi.com/Isaac Von Berg. Supporters on Ko-Fi will be listed at the end of videos, and the higher the amount that you donate, the more extravagant the color you'll receive. The first one to receive the rainbow color will be, you know, forever enshrined. And anyways, I've been Isaac Von Berg once again, and thanks for watching.